In this video, we're going to be seeing how to create an application on SAP and assign this application to a user. Now, we're going to be using a scenario. Now, in this scenario, we have a maintenance engineer, and the maintenance engineer needs a particular application to enable him do his job. Another scenario we're also going to be seeing is we have someone that has an SAP access, okay? But then he can't find one application on his SAP access. Now, there's something called the Fiori app library. And of course, I know that many of us know the Fiori app library. Now, this is the Fiori app library interface and how it looks. And you could type the Fiori app library on your web browser, and then it opens up this site. Now, one wonderful thing that this Fiori app library has done is that it has categorized these applications. So it categorized it based on private cloud, public cloud, on-prem, business suite, lighthouse apps on SAP B2P. So based on whatever app that you're looking for, you could just search. And also it categorized it based on roles as well. But for the case of this tutorial, we're going to click all apps. So we're going to be assuming that we already know the application that we want our maintenance engineer to have. So let's assume we want him to have the display equipment BOM, the display equipment bill of materials. So I'm going to search. So you already know the app name. You click on the search and it displays. Now, this is what we want our maintenance engineer to have. Now, to do this, there are several steps that you have to take. The first is that you have to create a catalog. And after creating a catalog, you create a group. After creating a group, then you create the role where you would link the catalog and the group that you've created to the role, and then link your user to the already created role. Now, these are the steps that you're going to take in creating this. But in this tutorial, we are not going to be going in depth into explaining what these terms mean. Maybe in another video. And also, we will not be explaining in depth what these application details mean. Also, we might do this in another video. In this video, we're just going to be looking at how to get these applications and assign these applications to their users. Now, in creating this, it is very possible that when you're creating your catalog, you might have an error message that would pop up telling you that maybe there is a duplicate. And this can occur when you are trying to or are attempting to create a catalog with the same ID. So you're going to try as much as possible to make sure that you're not creating a catalog with the same ID. So your Fiori application contains what is called standard groups and standard catalogs. When we say standard groups and standard catalogs, to access the standard catalogs and groups, you would have to click on the implementation information and drop your configuration icon down. Now, these are your standard technical catalogs and your standard business catalogs. So they are called standards, okay? But what we're going to be doing in this tutorial is to create a customized catalog and a customized group. Now, why are we doing that? So in the scenarios that we gave, we had a maintenance engineer needing an application, or we had an SAP user, maybe just a random SAP user that needs a particular application. If you go with the standard catalog, which is the technical catalog, each standard catalog and standard group have specific applications that have been linked to them, the tiles that have been linked to them. Okay, so I'm going to explain this by opening this up so that you can understand what I'm saying. So to do that, you're going to copy the technical catalog ID and navigate to your SAP GUI. So already I have this saved on my favorite. but you can use this /U12/FLPD_CUSD on this command field here. So when you execute it, it will automatically take you here. So we can see that for this catalog ID, the standard catalog ID, we have 296 tiles assigned to it. But because of our scenario, for the maintenance engineer, depending on his role and his responsibilities, he might not necessarily need all of these 296 tiles. And that is why, as much as we have the standard catalog, standard groups, we'd have to create a customized one. That is if we want to assign it to maybe one person that has a particular role. So in this number of tiles, we are only going to be selecting the particular app that we want to give our maintenance engineer, which is the display equipment bomb. So we are going to search it in the midst of all of this display equipment bomb. Click on search. Now these are the tiles for display equipment bomb, right? So this is the only thing that we are going to be referencing. So to do this, we would have to click on the create catalog to create our own custom catalog. So I'm going to call this custom display equipment bomb. And then for the ID, I might then decide to. So for the ID, we're not going to be maintaining this ID here. Okay? And because it is custom, we're not going to be using the catalog ID for the standard. So we're going to customize our own catalog ID. So go back and I'm going to customize this. Z catalog _ standard _ apps. And click on save. So now we have our custom catalog already created. Okay. But in our custom catalog, you can see that there is nothing in it. We don't have any tiles. We don't have any target mappings. And this is very important when you're creating a custom catalog ID. When you're creating a custom catalog ID. Okay. So here we have 0 tiles and 0 target mapping. So to do that, we're going to go back to our standard catalog ID. So this is our standard catalog ID having 296 tiles. So we're going to display equipment bomb, which is the only application that we want. Display equipment bomb. And click on search. So what we're going to do is to create references of each of these tiles. So but what we need is just the display equipment bomb. This is the only tiles that we need. All right. So just click this and click on create reference. Then we automatically have created the reference. So let's see the outcome of what we just did. So I'm going to look for the custom ID that we've created. Z catalog. So we can see here that the tiles is already being displayed. But for the target mapping, it is 0 because we've not moved the target mapping. So normally when we are creating reference, you have to create a reference for both the tiles and the target mapping, both for the catalog and for the group. So to do the target mapping the same way that we included the tiles, we'd have to go back to our standard catalog. You can get that from the Fiori app as usual. Copy this and paste here to search for the catalog. Enter. Now this is our standard catalog over here. So we're going to move the target mapping for display equipment lists. We're going to find it in the pool of all these mappings. Display. Okay, let's look for it on the tiles because it's not the same naming for target mapping. So display equipment list. And click enter. Oh, sorry, display equipment boom. I click search. So this is the display equipment boom here. So we'll highlight and click on the target mapping. Okay, so we can see that we have the target mappings here. So we're just going to see which of the target mapping we have here. We're going to take the target mapping for display equipment boom. So we're going to move this, we'll highlight this, and we'll copy the reference. So you're going to click on create reference the same way that we did for the tiles. So click on create reference, and we are moving it to our customized catalog. You'll find it. This is our customized catalog here. So we've successfully moved it. Now to see what we have moved, we're going to go back to our customized catalog on the search button. Zcat search. Down, this is it. So pretty easy, right? We now have one tile and one target mapping. Now after this, we'll go to our groups, because we said that after creating the catalog, the next thing is to create our groups. So click on the group. And we are going to create a new group. Okay, what are we going to call this title here? So we could call this display bill of material. Okay, now we're going to create our custom ID. Now for the standard, we have a standard group for display boom, which is this. But because we are customizing, we are not going to be using the standard group ID. So let's quickly create a customized ID. So I'll use ZGRP. So because it's customized, that's why in SAP for customization we use the Z. Okay, so Z group underscore standard underscore apps. So I'll click save. Now we have our already customized group created. So we're going to link the catalogs that we've created to these groups that we've created. I'll click here to add the tile, this icon here, and then search for it. So this is what it is. I'll click here, then I would include the tile. So I'll place this tile. It's already linked to the custom group. Now we've successfully created a custom catalog and a custom group for our maintenance engineer. But even if our maintenance engineer logs into his SAP system, he will still not be able to see the application tile on his system if we don't do this. So we're going to go straight into creating a role for him and then further give him authorization to that role. So to do that, we'll go back to our SAP GUI. So now we're going to create our custom role, and to do that, I'll just create Z. Okay, we have a series of roles that we've created before, but it's fine. So just give it a different name. Underscore standard underscore apps. Okay. Now we are going to click on single role. And the reason we are clicking on single role is because we have just one user that we want to create a role for. So click on single role and it takes us here. So we're going to click on menu. You save your role first. And then here we go down to the insert node to select a particular node. Now what we are going to be selecting is the SAP Fiori Launchpad. And you can see that it has the Launchpad catalog, the Launchpad group, and the Launchpad space. So I'm going to click on the Launchpad catalog. It tells me to put my catalog ID, right? So we already have a custom catalog ID that we created, which was Z catalog _ standard _ apps. So now we have our custom catalog that we created here. So I'll just quickly save. Now we've already done for the Launchpad catalog. We click on the drop down to navigate to the Launchpad group. So click on the Launchpad group here. So we're going to put in the custom group ID that we created, which is ZGRP _ standard _ apps. So we save. So now we have a custom ID for the catalog and the groups already in our role. So we've linked the custom ID and the group to our role. Now what we're going to be doing now is to assign this role to our user. So we're going to click here on user. So if you've already created the user on the system, all you would have to do is to input the user ID and click enter. Then you click save. Now we have it assigned to our user on the system. So with this, the maintenance engineer can now be able to view that application when he logs onto his SAP system. Now we are logged onto the SAP system. You can see the display boom that we created and the display equipment boom that we created here as well. We're going to be assuming that the maintenance engineer is trying to log onto the system. So we can see the display equipment boom that we. So we can see the display boom that we created. The display boom that we. What did I call that? So I'm going to navigate. Now that we are logged onto the SAP system, you can see the display boom that we created as the group. And you can see the tile that we created, the display equipment boom as a tile that we created and linked to the group. So if you don't see this after the whole customization, it means that you have to check if you have assigned it to the user. So it's not until you assign it to the user, you will not be able to see it displayed on the system when you're logged in.